Guardian, someone's on the line.
Before the Giver was found to exiles, the long drift eroded our spirit of eons. Our catch was poisoned by ether hunger and treachery. But just when exiles were near our house, Death, the Giver's gravity reach led us to its dark matter. And inside, discovery of the voice invisible. Words of mind alone. The power to speak as one. And in Giver's reach, we also found Ionians. For many lives, we shared discovery. The ways of dark matter open to all. Integration and ether life for our house. Then came the Deathless Warriors. From beyond the Giver's orbit. Strong, impressive, with power beyond stars. The exiles share no hatred with you. We want only the gifts of the Giver. But if the Deathless steal dark matter from our house, they will be met with blades. All will perish who take what is freely given.
Guardian, I've made myself a contact within the Elixni ranks. Apparently not everyone is happy with the way things are being run.
You little sleuth.
That's the idea. Anyway, there's apparently a power station nearby feeding a lot of juice into something off-site.
Got it. I'm reading high levels of arc energy.
It's mixing with signatures matching the singularity.
All right, Guardian, this has to be the house's power plant. There's a massive current moving through the cables around us. And gravitons.
My informant Keels tells me that power is going straight into a warship.
If we can get to a power plant's controls while it's charging their ship, we can send a lethal surge to it from here before it ever leaves port.
Crafty. And it'll buy time to hunt down the Strangelet capsule in the Accord. If we stop the singularity from expanding, stabilize Kepler, maybe they'll stand down.
A fair chance we talk a psycho like that off a ledge. He's a true believer in whatever psychos believe in.
They aren't leaving us many options. We need to reach the anomaly.
Deathless, why have you come? Glimpses are seen of your actions, but your motive ever shrouded. When my house found Soul, saw the great machine with your world, we left in defeated peace.
It looks like this station is actually drawing some form of power from these native cytocolonies. So, slimes are their generators?
This whole place is wired like a rat's nest. That's worse than my ship.
Guardian, patch me into a console and I can override that barrier.
Deathless was foretold. See how they must kill as prophesied. Kiver Sight warned me of this final test. I'll be resilient, my house.
Look alive, hero. They're piping in splinter mines. crazy sons of crabs are gonna cause a damn cave-in.
You're on bomb defusal, Guardian.
Lavask sure likes to talk, making a show of us barging into his house. Maybe we pull his moxie out from under him and he lets some intel slip.
Unless he sees that coming. All this prophecy talk. Back in my day, you kill a fella fair without knowing the future.
You think he's really clairvoyant?
Not to alarm you, Guardian, but a mine is getting dangerously close to detonating.
Okay, Guardian, we need to find a way to overload that control panel.
Probably why they tried to blow us up. I guess they're trying to unplug. We should hustle up. I think you gotta roll up and do that ball thing. Go on.
Like vile Vex, the Deathless is violence-driven. They cannot be turned away by reasoned words. Only blood.
Mighty Archon, we hear your prophecy. The Deathless kneels before the Giver with your blessing. Just open the way.
Will what now?
This was not our tricks. You conspire with metal invaders to keep us from the Giver. To draw our house into folly. Count Resilisk. Your work is done. Bring these walls down on the Deathless. Show your Archon true faith. This world will slip into unknown spaces, as I have seen it. Exiles with it. Their death is fated to be reborn.
What's your next plan? Stand there with the guns pointed at each other until someone gets cold feet?
So the Archon didn't take the bait, but he mentioned being kept from the Giver. Sounds like, despite their push to the Singularity, something's still cutting them off from it. That means we don't have to rush right in unless they make a move. Maybe there's somewhere else we can apply pressure.
You're a kid. Those things been shooting at you since you landed on this dump, and you still haven't pulled your piece.
That's right. Unlike you, I don't prefer a gun to solve my problems when questions work just as well.
Enough! We may have knocked out their power, but the Archon's still out there. We'll need to be ready when they make their next move.
You sure your informant ain't running us around in circles, Square?
Kiosk is risking a lot just to speak with me. And I vetted them, of course.
Yeah, you're probably right. All those ones that tried to kill us are just bad apples.
People aren't all one way or another. That's what makes us interesting.
I've been talking to that Drifter fellow. Not a name I'd self-apply, but I like him. He understands what it's like to be stranded far from home. Anyway, he was telling me about these aliens who are giving the Ionians such a hard time, the Elixni. Apparently, they normally live on something called ether. Huh. Seems like you already have some experience with it. Interesting. The locals say these Elixni augment their supply with dark matter. Who knows what physiological effects that's having. Might be the reason they're so hostile. I suggest you assess their production lines. If we learn how the dark matter is affecting them, it might give us some leverage.
I've got some intel from my informant.
Informant? Well, well. First it's a contact, then it's an informant. They're taking a liking to you.
Maybe a way to help the house calm down and see straight again. I'm sending coordinates, but keep on that heading.
Lodi, Drifter, checking in. How goes your recon on the House of Exile?
The Guardian's handling the situation well, but Miss Ray, to be honest, I don't like this. There has to be a way to de-escalate the situation.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. I've been watching the house from the derelict, and they are one ruthless group.
Do they appear to be in league with the Conductor? That would tell us something at least.
In all my dealings with the Exile, she hasn't come up. I have reason to believe this Archon is a lone actor. Guardian, Mr. Ghost, you should be nearing a refinery or some kind of drilling operation. Coordinates incoming. I think this is where they're processing their ether. Maybe we can disable their machinery until the Ionians can correct the process.
Okay, I see it from up here. Derelict scanners are picking up all sorts of weird gravity fluctuations, and a whole heck of a lot of exiles.
Orin says these trains are like quantum entangled objects, held in superposition across the fourth dimension. We're through. Now to disable the Exile's dark matter refinery.
I wish it was as simple as talking to them. Last time I tried, I got shot at. And it wasn't my Elixni accent.
They get real touchy sometimes. Sensitive little crustaceans.
Guardian, I'm reading some highly charged energy through one of these pipelines. Lodi, did the Ionians ever explain why they stopped working with the House of Exile? From what I gather, it didn't end well.
I got to talking with one of the old pilots who gabbed on the subject a bit. Ionians tried to synthesize ether for the house.
Why? That's not a simple job. Leave it to those servitor garbage disposals. Matter goes in, ether comes out. Easy.
Except here, everything's imprinted with dark matter, which they apparently want to extract for a pure conversion to ether. The Ionians say it shouldn't be harmful, but the singularity seems to make it toxic to the Elixni.
That's it!
You think I'm sick, but I am mighty. Exile is our teacher, our home. Our rifles are many. Our will is anointed by the giver.
That's strange. It doesn't have enough juice to charge the relay. Maybe we can overcharge the cannon somehow. Guardian, it's supercharging the cannon. This is the house's central refinery. My scans are going a little haywire, but that can't be right. These pipes are operating at alarming pressures.
Let me fill you in on a little secret. None of House Exile's gear has safety regulators. My kind of people.
Hey team, I've seen those little flying bots play hot potato delivering dark matter down to your proximity.
I have an idea. Guardian, a concentration of dense matter could send the whole system over the edge. Let's look for those shanks. You were right, Lodi. This scans like dark matter, wrapped around an artificial gravity well.
Oh, don't worry if it doesn't fit. Just jam it in there.
Pressure's increasing. The pipes are still holding. We need more.
Incoming Exiles. Crack your knuckles and rack your slides.
I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but they seem intent on a fight. Their leader doesn't sound like he's crazed or confused. He has an agenda and a voice to wield it.
Seen a lot of those types in my time.
Maybe we could still reason with him.
It's barely holding together. One more, Guardian.
Entomb the deathless. Protect our ascension.
Well now, that went, great.
It did. We learned the house centers around this giver. Watch your flank, Guardian.
Ions want us truth blind, to keep the anomaly's sight from Elixni eyes. Our voice is a raised spear, arc sparking. Sealed against the black space sea. Our banner. We suffer. All suffer.
I came here thinking these Elixni were poisoned and needed help. But this... like a bunch of holy rollers.
I have seen your doom. Your fall spread across many visions, many possibilities. Only one must strike true.
That pilot I spoke to, he mentioned the Archon, Lavask, wasn't always the leader of the house. But one day he starts getting visions, next he gets a taste for politics.
A gift from his giver.
The giver and the singularity sound like synonyms, but I can't see how a black hole gives anyone anything.
Given what we know, my hypothesis is that the source of the holy singularity, as the Ionians call it, and the exile's giver are one and the same.
Ikora, the Nine invited us here. It was 3. The thought just... it's like it unlocked in my head.
Didn't just bring us here to deal with the Archon.
Agreed. What does the planet care about a single Elixni? Either way, we need to neutralize the threat he poses to the Ionians. I've seen leaders like Lavask before. He doesn't want a war. He just can't look weak in front of his people. Could we offer the Archon safety in the city for technology? I bet they have a solution to the temporal disturbances on Kepler.
You can't just shove a power-hungry maniac in the middle of the city and expect it not to go off. Reality is, your idea is the fastest way in the world to lose the last safe place on it. I ain't losing anything else.
I've heard a lot of saber-rattling old men say that same thing. They all had one commonality: fear. Guardian, I have a hot tip from my favorite informant. That ship we cut the power to, the Archon's on it. We stopped it from being operational, but he's determined to get it airborne.
Wouldn't be the first catch you've stormed, Hero, or the first house you've toppled.
I don't have the ship's location, but I might have something just as good. Goes by the name Prime Servitor, and they're holding the Strangelet we need. This will either draw the Archon out so we can deal with him, or at least weaken his authority and delay whatever he's planning to do to the Singularity with that Elixni warship.
All right, hero. If the kid's lead is good, the house shouldn't be expecting you.
My lead is good. Our Strangelet's here. I can feel it.
Deathless, you arrive, yes, as it was foretold. This is one of the fated clashes by exiles.
I was hoping this would get their attention. Next time we have a quiet moment, I want to try to get them talking. It's worked before.
There's a high concentration of dark matter running through this facility.
Could the Prime Servitor be integrating it into the House's Arc network?
Whatever the Archon's planning, he must need the Servitor.
That's a good angle to apply pressure. I'll work it.
There has to be a way through those laser barriers.
I've seen the House use teleporters to navigate these mazes. Do you feel it, Lavask? Walls are closing in. If the Deathless destroys your house's Prime Servitor, how can you be favored by the Giver?
Our Prime stands in defiance of the Deathless, in service of its holy Archon. It will be reborn and ascend into the timeless space.
Sounds pretty fishy to me, kid.
Admit it, Lavask, you're a false prophet. And right now, you're terrified because your plan won't work without your servitor.
Only my vision shows the path. My ever faithful, I will deliver your promised ascension.
Archon! How do you plan to ascend without the Strangelet? It's all falling apart, isn't it?
We are cunning. In the depths on which will we prepare our voyage. You believe you stopped us? You cannot stop our fated harvest!
You're not dropping that without getting shredded, hero.
Maybe we can bypass it, like the earlier barriers.
Lodi, it appears your lead checks out. Here's our prime servitor, and the energy signature coming off of it matches the singularity.
It's definitely holding the Strangelet capsule we're looking for.
I told you my intel was reliable. Now, you take out the servitor, and I'll get the Archon to talk.
flock of smaller servitors buzzing around. Damn, they're everywhere.
They're like watchdogs. We'll have to clear them out to get to the Prime.
That servitor tripped some kind of magnetic lockdown.
It's cut off from the generator. Shield down.
Can your flesh withstand a dissection, Atomic? Visions of your scattering come to be.
I'm picking up more servitors flooding in. We'll need to take them out.
I know you're listening, Lavask. I know your people are too. They're watching the Deathless shed light on your lies, doubting you.
Our catch takes flight. Our drills tipped with the Giver's power. Into the singularity we ascend!
Another shield generator's vulnerable.
Stomach's turning. That's another shield down.
Timeless. The Deathless will know the Giver's smite as it tears through their false heart and flimsy will.
There it is. Your plan. A full-scale push into the singularity, and those rumors of using a powered-up catch were right on the money. Lo hice. Thank you for your cooperation.
like there's a crawl space under the floor.
We'll find a way through.
You storm with cloud liars at your back. You rape what is not yours and break what others build. See what they take from us, my family. My house, stand with your Archon against the deathless blight. Protect the giver. Protect your holy servitor.
It's over, Lavask. Your Prime Servitor is lost, and we have its Strangelet capsule.
I reject this. We reject this. A defeat here was always a possibility, Met. Just one of the many paths to the grand design. I am victorious. Exiles victorious. We are fated to conquer the deathless. Defeat looms for those who reject the giver's embrace. You will see, as I have seen. Exiled children of Lavask, the giver's arms await us. We will bore into the timeless space and ascend.
Timeless space? They want to go into the black hole. Make it big enough so they can all go through? That's ascension?
Look at this coward, running off every line he can think of. We might have broken him.
But you picked that up. They're gearing up to try to harvest a member of the Nine. I have no earthly idea how, but it can't be good.
You dismantled that con like a pro, kid. Got him spilling everything, just to save face. Nice work.
Thanks for the assist.